Hi and welcome back to the channel, and as you saw in the clickbait, we're doing American Muscle today. So, customer comes in, and I know this is gonna sound really strange. He wants it to sound less aggressive, but that's because of the Swedish police. So he wants to lower the exhaust sound on this car, and here it is. It's a beautiful Chevelle. I think it's a 66. Beautiful orange pearl paint. I don't know if you can actually see the pearl, but it looks really epic in the sun. Here you can see the front clip of the car. Really nice build. But as I said, we're gonna take down the sound of the exhaust system, and we have the parts to do it. And he's still gonna have that rolling engine sound, because this is stainless steel, 3-inch. We only bought the best of the best. And of course, we bought the valves so we can open up the exhaust system so he can push the pedal and the sound is rolling from this engine. And I think he has a baller setup in the engine bay. It looks really clean and really nice. Beautiful setup with the engine bay. So it's a Chevrolet engine and of course a little bit of a show mode. He has lights in the engine bay. I think it's all shaved in the back by the firewall. MSD ignition system. Yeah, and it looks really baller. So I think we have to start the car so you can hear it without the modification. So Matthias, be the honors and start the engine. That's American Muscle! Sounds really epic. Hit it. Okay. I understand why he has a problem with the cops, because that made my paint booth shake. So, okay, we're gonna mount this, and we actually have some other stuff we have to do on the customer car. We have the back bumper. It looks a little bit iffy. It sits quite great on the left side, but it hangs down as some old tits on the right side. And then we have some problems with the climate system, I guess. Yep. We're gonna install an aftermarket climate system. That means that we have to drill into the firewall. So yeah, that's gonna be scary. It's quite a new build. It looks really nice, but welcome to today's video, and we're gonna put some dimes and make this car great. It is already great, but a little bit better, with the touch of Magas design. Let's go! Okay, me and Matthias been under the car, taking off the original exhaust system, and the previous mechanics, they made it really easy for themselves. Look at this. So if you look at this side, first of all, the dimes and the welds looks like shit.
Leaking.
It's leaking for the first, and then for the second, I don't know what that is, but look at this. When we turn it around, that's up towards the car. They made it easy for themselves. No welds at all. So no figure that this exhaust system sounds loud as hell. Just looking at the brackets. Yeah, guys, I don't know. This is not how I want to leave a customer car, I can tell you. Yeah, I don't know.
This bracket is still on the car.
Yeah. Oh, okay, you ripped it off.
Yeah.
Okay. We had to rip it off just to get it off the car. So yeah, mechanics made it really easy for themselves. I had a problem in the front of this exhaust system to actually get stuff loose, and they actually welded on the fucking bolt to the exhaust system to make it easy for themselves. So we're gonna put on new hardware, fix that shit, and make it nice and pretty, I guess. But yeah, mechanics out there, come on, have some pride. So Matthias is now gonna weld on the V-band. He cut the excess material off. Where do you have that one? The funky shit one that leaked a hell of a lot. We are gonna add the V-bands because we think that's very, very serviceable for the customer, first of all, and then very easy to mount. So he's gonna do that. I'm gonna move over to the electrician, or the electric part. So I'm gonna move over to the cutoff valves, and I connected everything. What you get in the kit is actually, you got the valve, you got a remote trigger, and then you got some cables and stuff. The funny thing is they want me to put this in the sig lighter for power. I don't know who's that stupid to connect it with this one, but I connected it up to the battery just to see if it worked or not. And as you can see, it opens. I want it to close, but they are sending 2 of these units, and that's also a little bit stupid. I want the customer only to work with 1. So what I'm gonna do, first of all, I cut this away, so I don't need that. I'm gonna put power and ground. That's how easy it is. It's just power and ground for the XR signal box. And what I'm gonna do now is connect both of them, but I need to measure the resistance of the power that it needs, so hopefully it can power both of them at the same time on the same unit. I don't want the customer to have these 2 in the car and have to push this open and this open just to push up the both of the valves. I hope you understand me. I want him to have 1 controller to open both of them. So what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna do, and hopefully gonna work, is the power cable or the signal cable for the valves. I'm gonna cut this off. I'm gonna connect this to 1 of these. I already cut this, as you can see. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut this this side, connect it, make a good connection, solder them together, and then let's see if both of them gonna open up at the same time. Cross your fingers. So as you can see, I connected 2 of the female parts from the valves. So both of them are gonna go into 1 controller. As you can see, I actually, if you're interested, I'm using these. It's actually solder in them, and it's like a heat shrink tube around it. So when you heat it up, the solder goes through, goes into the cable or the copper, and this shrinks over it. But always use shrink tube over it as a precaution, and this is with glue on the inside, so it's never gonna rub or get loose. So this controller has now power, ground, goes out to the Y section, and now I have my controller, and you push open and both of them are opening. So the customer is going to be super happy. He only needs 1. Open and close. Perfect. And for you guys who don't know how this actually works, we're going to weld this to the exhaust system. So when the customer opens the valves, it's gonna pass through these and out directly instead of going through the both mufflers or the 4 mufflers that the customer has on this car. That's why the exhaust sound's gonna be brutal when he opens them, and if you just want to cruise and don't have the cups around him, it's just gonna close the valves. Or I'm gonna put in some clips here now when Matthias is cutting up the old exhaust system, point welded on the V-clamps on the old exhaust system to now proceed with the new one. So going from testing the electrical working outside of the car, I actually began to go through the car and mounting the electricity. I went through the gearbox tunnel from the gear shifter cable. So I just took a steel wire, connected the cables and trying to find it through, and then went through really good. And now I'm trying to connect it to the receiver that I actually put on the underside here with double sided tape. So the receiver is right here. I think that's going to be really good for the controller. Now I'm just going to tidy everything up with the cables. I don't like this. I was thinking about maybe shortening this down, but then make another section, or you cut into the cable harness, and could probably be problems in the end. So I'm gonna skip that, just put a tape over so they actually can't slip out. And I think Matthias is in a really good progress underneath. We were debating quite a lot if we want to go under the rear axle or over the rear axle, and we were quite unfamiliar how much of a way the axle could go up and down, so we chose to go over the axle. So you can see the V-band from the old muffler, and we're gonna go straight up over the axle, coming over like this, and then we're gonna have the next muffler and some nice end tips. Really good progress for the tonight, I guess, and it's running late. Both of us are working full-time in the day, so hard grind. So we're gonna see each other tomorrow. See ya! So going into the car again, the customer wanted us to install the heater box, and me personally, I would want to have it in the middle of the on the dashboard. So the heater box looks like this. Comes with a little bracket, a little bit of cables. You have to connect your own hoses to this. And what I mean, I wanted this in the middle or in the center of the dashboard, is to get as good direction on the airflow, so one in the middle and then the other two outer ones pointing towards the doors. But the customer has a lot of gauges sitting in front of the shifter, so what I'm thinking is actually unscrewing these. Don't connect it, I don't know the cabling because it looks like a mess back there, but take the heater box, mount it in the center of the dashboard, and then maybe find out, so we'll make custom brackets so we can actually mount these to the heater box. So I'm gonna start off taking this off, mounting the heater box, then seeing if I can relocate the gauges. He really wants them to be in the cart, so I'm not gonna take them away. And then we're gonna look at the routing of the hoses and the electrical part. But yeah, next step. I'm not saying that everyone should have this, but it makes life really easy, and I think my mechanic Matthias loves it. Oh yeah. So we invested in a welding table. I didn't introduce it, but it's so easy to work with. You have flexibility with the whole pattern. We can make fixtures like Matthias did now. He fixated the whole exhaust pipe in the degrees that he wanted and the angles that he wanted. Now he's fitting the cutout tube. So yes, this makes life very easy to yourself. I invested it from Laser and Skärteknik here in Gothenburg. He makes awesome tables, and I think this is one of the best investments that I have done lately. So it's the next morning and we worked our asses off. Matthias put dimes on really good dimes. We did readjust the back bumper on the car. It was really crooked on there. So what I mean with that is the gaps around the back bumper was really crooked, and now they are similar on both sides. Why we wanted to do that is to measure in the exhaust pipes so they are mirrored by themselves. So we're gonna look underneath and see how the work proceeded under here. So as I've shown you before, we started off with a muffler. He wanted straight pipes to the bumper in the back, and then we did a hell of a job going over the rear axle and then going into the OEM mufflers, or whatever we can call them. So we had to fix the holes that were in them. Everything looks really nice. And then going forward to the cutouts where we put them, we wanted to put them before the original mufflers because the customer didn't want us to actually make the car a lot quieter. So we thought the customer wanted it to be really loud when he opens up the catbacks or the cutouts. But this came out really nice. So they are snug onto the frame. We can shake the exhaust system. It doesn't hit anywhere, and we took some precaution. So if the rear axle is going to move up and down, it's not going to hit the exhaust system. That's quite important when you do that. And then I'm going to show you the cutouts. So as you can see, that's the exhaust system coming from the engine. It goes in front here. In the middle we have the cutouts, and then of course where we had the mufflers. What I did is that I wanted to have them a little bit down towards the floor and not hitting the underneath or the undercarriage of the car. That would sound and vibrate quite hard, so it's better if it goes down to the floor. And then of course you have the cable. I tucked it in as well as I could through the whole underside, and then going up snug and nice where the gearbox is. Very important to have the cable a good bit away from the heat, from everything with the exhaust system. And then of course the heater box. Yeah, really nice installation. Everything works now. The customer didn't want to change out the gauges, so I didn't do that. So we used the OEM gauges. I put one on the right side, two on the left side, and then yeah, this felt really bad. I drilled a big hole in his beautiful dash, but I had to because the regulator of the fan, I had to put it there. So I upgraded with this regulator or the switch for the fan, and then of course an extra for his lighting in the front. But here you can see you can adjust them however you want them. Choose to have it 360, and also choose to close them up. And then I'm gonna just show you how I did with the hoses. It's quite simple, I guess. You have the installation of the hoses here. You just connect them into the radiator that sits on the back, and then I went through the firewall, snugged them onto the engine because I didn't want to show them too much. So Matteo's gonna open the hood, and what we did, we took everything through the firewall underneath the brake booster and went underneath and really tucked it away. So one is going into the block in the back, and one I actually tucked the whole way in front of the engine by the pump, because you will really want to have that pressure and the circulation. And yeah, I think we're super happy with the results of the car. I'm going to drive it out now, wash off the car because the customer comes, and then of course we're going to do the sound test before and after, because that's what everyone clicked on the video, I guess, for. So, but we're happy. It sounds awesome. Of course, we already tried it out. It sounds really good. It's not too quiet when we have the cutbacks like not engaged, but when we engage them and open up, the American muscle comes alive. So first the wash, and then you're gonna hear the sound. Okay, here comes what everyone has waited for. So Matthias, please start the car, and this is with the cutoffs closed. It's still rumbling a lot, but I think the customer is going to be really happy with this. And now, just wait and see. Oh la la! America Muscle! Hey! Now it's closing again. Works like a charm. I think the customer is going to be super happy. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of this content. As I always say, good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever you are. Bye bye!